today along the river. But here's Todoroki Ravine. I hope they open it someday. It should be nice. So a little bit of a slow start today. Woke up at 4, but I did dawdle. I think I was on my phone a little bit too much. Whereas on Monday, like I had a mission. I had to get out here. I had to record a video. So I ran 6 miles and basically shared what my next looks like in life as I progress into building a community that helps engineers find their way. So that was pretty fun. I also shared that I'm becoming a founder and CEO of a startup. That's pretty cool. So yesterday I had, I think, a lot of purpose of getting moving. Eliza, how's it going, friend? My life is better because Eliza's in it. What is that, Hamilton? How's it going? Today we have a recovery run, 1 to 2 miles. I mean, ideally it's 2. Just run to the 1 mile marker, run back. It's a little wet this morning. Things were a little crunchy in the hips. And last night, my back got a little sore. So I wrecked my back during our 13th move as a family. It's going good, you know what? I do think it's going pretty good. I'm gonna roll out like a digital class in paid community, which I'm super excited about. So our family just took like a mini vacation, a little beach trip to Zushi. And during that time on vacation, I had some time to reflect and envision like the best way to take a decade of learning in engineering, global leadership, and entrepreneurship and build a community around it and provide like high value classes. So I kind of laid the groundwork for it. I sketched out the first class. It's got 9 modules. And it's gonna take me like a month to get it off the ground. So super excited about that. And then progressing into like personal consulting as well. And then for maintained visa sponsorship in Japan, I'm starting a company through the city of Shibuya. So it'll be a Japanese company. I have a US based LLC that I run all my content creation and stuff through. But I'll be an owner of a US LLC and a Japanese, whatever their abbreviation is for a company, which is super cool. So I'm working on that. Should be fun. We're definitely a little tight today, a little sore. Gotta breathe. But Elijah, how are things in your part of the world? Did you change your profile picture? Because you've been around, right? You're the lovely digital artist. Or am I messing you up with a different Eliza? How was the move? Oh my gosh. It was brutal. Like, at the same time I was strategically exiting J&J and trying to get like the startup moving forward and trying to get different clients for all the consulting. It was just so much. It's too much. But we're in the new place. We like it. It's way, way smaller, but we're learning how to make it work. 3 kids, 4 kids. Crap, we're at 4 now. So still adjusting to that. And like we still can't park our car in the garage, so I've been paying like $10 a day to park at another lot because I'm stuck in the middle of a woodworking project to make a dining room table with integrated storage, because that's my life. It's like I gotta maximize space in this new pad. So we've been eating on the floor. It's a circus. But we're getting there. I got the computer set up with all the screens and all the cables and mics and stuff, so I can start doing content and editing. So I'm kind of like finding confidence every day that we took this jump and I can still provide value. Here's our little river. Whew. I'm sore. I'm gonna switch hands. Put you over here. I am the digital artist. I change my profile picture sometimes. Excellent. And it's weird because like your brain makes like psychological associations. So I don't know, your last picture was like it was definitely a warmer hue. It was like a purple, pinkish red something. So a lot of times I immediately see like the little profile circle before I'm able to read the name. And if the color composition connects with the memory of the conversation, I can keep it all together. So I was like, is this the same Elijah? I have some friends that like, they would change their profile name on Twitch, but felt like every week. And as much as I love them and respect that, you know, the desire to keep shifting your identity online, I was like, this is exhausting. Who am I talking to? Like, where did we meet? Like, my brain can't follow it if it all shifts too much, because depending on the virality of a video or a live, sometimes you get this like rush or flood of people, and then they sporadically come back, or they don't come back at all. And then there's other people who become more constant in your community. So when little things shift, whether it's the color, the name, as a live streamer trying to connect, it makes it so hard. But I do my best because I think it's important. At one point I had tried to build a community map where people could just enter some brief bio kind of information, and then it gives them like a different pin on the earth. And that way I could like quickly brush up on like, who the heck is Eliza? But I remember our Elijah conversation just coming from like a faith-based context. All those names and identities get twisted. Like, I tried to explain a story of Elijah yesterday or 2 days ago to my kid on vacation. And even as I was telling, I was like, shoot, is this Elijah? Which one is this? If I was diligent, I would have just opened it on my phone. I was like, I'll let him navigate this difficulty later in life. I understand. My last profile picture was a character of mine. I just drew it quickly, so it looked a bit strange. That makes a lot of sense. Alright, friends, we're about 0.7 miles in, which is like 1 kilometer. So we're making good progress. About, I don't know, a third of the way done. So far, from a body perspective, we're holding up pretty well. Here's a little look at the path. If you've never been in Japan, these are some nice Japanese houses. It was funny, I was doing a cool down on vacation after a run. And so I was like, oh my God, it looks just like an anime. And I was like, well, yes, because these vending machines are everywhere in Japan. So as an artist, like, art is a reflection of contextualization. Like, you're influenced by the context in which you live or other contexts that you explore. You know, a lot of people are influenced by manga and anime, but they've never seen where those influences come from by actually just walking around Japan. Like, so much of this stuff now is just normative to me because I've lived here so long, like almost 3 years. Whew. And I'm like, a house is a house. Right? Because I was like, oh my God, look at those traditional Japanese roof tiles. I was like, it's just stone. It's just ceramic. Like, it's the materials that are more efficiently available to the Japanese today. But because we don't live in that context, it carries like outrageously high novelty. And to a Japanese person, they're like, oh, this is my house. So that's a lot of fun. But there's been a pretty large construction project to get like a little overpass thing going. Allegedly, they've been working on it for years. But they just put in this beautiful concrete footer. I wonder when they're going to make the road, because they just got rid of their whole construction site. I understand. Oh, okay, we're still on that comment. Whew, sweated a little bit, so we're almost at a mile. I have to get up to like this little tower. We'll turn it back. And then because today's recovery, I normally like to take kind of a quiet moment of prayer or mindfulness near this beautiful river. So we'll get to 1 mile. We'll cut it back, so we'll get to like 1.2 miles, which means 0.8 would be left. And we'll go sit by the river for a little bit so you all can experience some nature, some nice nature. It'll be good. Ah, puddle! That's a little challenging. But overall today, I think the run, it's progressing well. It's challenging, but in Japanese that's like tadaima. Tadaima, and that's kind of out of context, but tadaima just means like I'm home. Like it's something you say when you enter a space, which is like present. I'm here. You know, depending on tone, it could be upbeat, like I'm home. Woo! Or like I'm home. The day's over. But I like to bring that into my runs. Like, this run is what it is. It doesn't come easy. I don't necessarily enjoy running. I believe it's fun when it's done, like over. But the process, it sucks every time for various reasons. But the idea of Tadaima, of being at home with it, I don't know, it's encouraging for me. Yo, Fasa, you got this. Thank you, friend. Appreciate it. We're almost at the 1 mile marker. We're coming up to one of my favorite friends, OG-san. He's a Japanese grandpa. We see each other all the time. Say hello. It's exciting. Thanks, Vasa. Appreciate it. Ohayou gozaimasu. Gambara. Okay, so this is our 1 mile. I'll go a little bit farther just to give OG on some space. These good people, we've had one half successful conversation. And part of it is like I normally run with a GoPro on my head, which is a little odd for people not wanting to necessarily be on YouTube. So I try to be courteous of it, but I'm also a very large man running far distances, so it's an inspiration. And unlike a lot of Japanese, this OG sounds a little bit larger from a BMI perspective, so it's pretty inspiring that he's out here consistently, this early, getting his walk in, trying to stay healthy and active. Japanese do tend to live disproportionately longer than other people groups, particularly those in the US. And a large part of it is just overall lifestyle. There's more active movement because it's a public transportation based country. So you gotta get up, you gotta walk, you gotta take your trains, you gotta carry your groceries. For instance, like Tokyo, a staggeringly low percentage of the population drives vehicles. Getting a license is incredibly expensive. Maintaining a car is very expensive. So they have really safe roads though, because it pushes all the young folk out. So it's a lot of fun. But they live longer, so good on them. Here we go. Let's keep pushing. So I try not to talk too much when I'm around other people. Japan's also a little bit quieter than the US context. Like, it's considered rude to talk on trains, especially to talk loudly, to take a call, for instance. That stuff's not normative. It happens sometimes. But there is a value of stillness and quiet in Japan. That's a little bit harder to find in other contexts, and part of it's like city life is so loud. And some of it does come from like Shinto, Buddhist values, a touch of Confucius, like, and all kind of culturally wrapped in Japanese culture. Alright, we're at like 1.2 miles. My pace is a little quicker than I expected, but happy you're all here. Now I'm working on a pretty complicated video edit. On Monday, which was, 2 days ago, I went for a 6-mile run, and over the 6 miles, I wanted to give an update on what I'm doing in my transition beyond Johnson & Johnson. Worked for Johnson & Johnson for 10 years, robotic surgical technology, VR, AR, those digital solutions in a wide range of capacities as a design engineer, robotics controls engineer, systems engineer, and then most recently as a director of front-end Innovation Japan, where I moved to Japan with my family to connect with Japanese clinicians, understand their unmet needs, and then direct an ecosystem of global innovators to make new technologies on their behalf. It was a wild job. It was amazing. And it ended. And that's part of life. And while I was provided, that's a big puddle, while I was provided a pathway, a return ticket to the US, me and my family turned it down. We did what I call the contingent resignation, I was actively trying to secure alternate roles within Johnson & Johnson based in Japan. And after 5 interviews, one of which with the person who initially vouched for me to come to Japan, for reasons I still don't fully understand, they said no. So with that, I had to exit. But our family relocated 12 times over the course of 1 year to get to Japan. Where do we want to go? Do we want to go out to the rocks? Yeah, it's too wet. Let's do some rock hopping. That side or that side? Left, right. Let's see. I'll let you all pick if I go to the left path or the right path. I'll start down the middle because that's the only area I can really reach. Actually, that one's a good step. Well, those ones are spread out. Wet stone hopping is never a good time. Oh man, if I rolled down this, it'd be great content though. See how long the live lasts underwater before my replacement screen fails. But anyway, my time at Johnson & Johnson has come to an end. And it's amazing how much of your identity you can put into your work and the culture of that place and the problems you tried to solve, and really the people. Leaving the people, I think, is the hardest part. But here we go. This is nice. But in that video I recorded, I kind of went through some context as to how that happened, how my job ended, the decisions we made, and in a light manner, like how we'd made those decisions, because discernment on stuff like this is always tricky. I think I want to work that way. It looks really aesthetic. I just need a place for us to rest and reflect for, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But and then I went through at each mile basically an update on 4 things I'm going to do to build a life out here that's financially viable for me and my family. And a lot of it does involve content and our community we've built. So I want to share that with all of you so that you can be along for the journey, enjoying in whatever capacity suits you, whatever you're most passionate about or interested in. Let's keep going. I love architecture of Japan and how people just try to do stuff for community, like putting rocks down in a water-filled pathway. Oh yeah, well I'm sure the rocks have some kind of function. You're right. First of all, let me just validate your initial read is correct. There is just a value of building things for community and for aesthetic. I mean, a lot of that comes through like Zen as well. But there's also always like an undertone of function. So there's some reason this exists. I don't know, is it to stop logs or stuff from blocking the river? Because it seems like it actually traps stuff. Do people come and clean this out? Why is this here? There's a function piece too, but like intentionally putting those little steps there allows people to get down to it. That's intentional, right? Experientially. All right, well, let's get to this rock. And then what I'm going to do, again, I come from like a Christian faith context, but folks from any context or lack thereof are totally welcome in our community, different faiths or spirituality. So running's always been kind of a practice for me to find discernment on how to progress next in my life. So what I used to do when I had a lot of really severe back injuries, I would just run half a mile. That'd be incredibly painful. And I'd like wrestle through all the crap in my head. And then I'd sit on a bench in pain and then just like pray and wrestle with God and be like, why the heck is all this awful happening in my life? That was like my processing. And then I would limp jog home and then go take on the next crappy day. And that was how it kind of started for me. That must have been 5 years ago that I was doing that. But now what I like to do is just kind of sit and create a moment of stillness for our community, because all of you are sitting on YouTube Shorts right now, and you can easily swipe to the next thing and just flip through a whole bunch of stuff and give your brain a whole bunch of these like light dopamine hits, but you don't really create space for deep processing and reflection on what you're navigating in your life, where you want to go next, the challenges. And then if you come from a faith context, then seeking God with that, or seeking the universe, or seeking yourself and understanding that. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes of quiet, which is uncommon online, to just watch this water do its water thing. It's great for my brain. It should be good for yours. The live's at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. So I'll chat at, not 2 minutes, 25 minutes and 40 seconds. So we'll just wait for it to get to 26 minutes and I'll give you 5 minutes of water. And if you leave, that's okay. But I think it's super aesthetic. I'm just not going to narrate for a minute while I talk to God like a crazy person. All right, so we got 5 seconds, and then I'll see you at the live when it's 31 minutes. 3, 2, 1, enjoy. All right, cool. Well, welcome, friends. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of mindfulness, reflection, prayer, wherever you come from. But that was super neat. All right, now we're ready to get home. Now, I am now my wife's coach. I received her consent to coach her on her fitness journey, which means she has to wake up at 6. I wake up at 4, and right now it's, I don't know, probably around 5:30, 5:40, which means I got just enough time to jog, walk, depending on how I feel home, hop on a bike and make my way over there, plus or minus a couple minutes. But that's kind of what my next looks like, and then feeding my kids, taking care of them, and then I got a whole bunch of video edits I'm going to work on. So if you are new to this community and you haven't subscribed or whatever, I really hate saying that kind of stuff. But I know how the internet works. Like, if you don't subscribe and you don't click the little stupid bell, like, and you've enjoyed this experience, you haven't given the algorithm enough to know to reconnect us in the future. And because of like the brain's desire to seek quick and easy, your feed will just give you other things to look at based on other signals you've given the algorithm. It's silly, I know. So if you enjoyed this and want to run with me more, consider that. All right, let's get to work. I immediately don't like the experience that's happening right now. There's nothing wrong. I'm not injured. I'm not even out of breath. I'm not too sore. My form's reasonable. There's no pain. I just immediately don't like it. I'm like, walking would be so much more comfortable than whatever this experience is. But here we are. Also, there's a Japanese wrestling facility here. It'd be so cool to go in there one day. I'm assuming it's like American style wrestling, but I don't really know. Like Nacho Libre kind of stuff. That's where it's at, man. Nacho! Alright. Let's keep plunking along. Let's find a nice pace. Now, this is the part of the journey with stairs. We hate stairs. And they are a persistent constant in my life that I'm already thinking about. I'm like pre-dreading it. Like in high school, I ran track and field. I was the only football lineman, American style football. For you global folk, I was the only like American style football lineman running long distance in track and field. I came in last every time, but you know, you get a standing ovation for crossing the finish line a full 5 minutes later than everybody else on the mile. It's awesome. Builds character. But anyway, we're gonna do like short track runs where you do like 400 meters with just one loop around track, and then we would do pyramids. Then you run 800 meters, and you run a mile, and then like a mile and a half, then you ladder back down. Like, as you know you're approaching the longer ones on that ladder, your resolve to run the early pyramids diminishes because you don't want to push, because you want to save for the harder laps. But the whole point is to like just aggressively attack your cardiovascular system so you have more push on race day. And for me, knowing my course so well, because I've run this course for, I don't know, 2 years now, like psychologically, I know the stairs up ahead. There's 6 flights, 7, depending on how you count. I know where they are. They're still a ways off. But I'm over here like, can't we just walk? I know we have to jog the stairs later. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let me check. I'll be coming to more lives. I haven't been arriving that much currently because it's either 10 at night when you stream or 3 in the afternoon. Chances are I'm sleeping. I sleep all the time. You're like my wife. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got a different brain, different needs. In my wife's case, she has anxiety and depression, so we use the analogy of a cup. Like everybody has a cup of energy. And then the things in life cause you to pour out the cup little by little, right? Taking care of kids, emailing your boss, going into the office, working out, all those things pour out the cup a little bit. And then you need to find activities that restore or refill the cup. For me, even though this is an exertion, when I complete something long and difficult, like a long distance run, it does infill the cup. For my wife, it empties the cup. And one of the ways that she recharges is just with physically sleeping through more of her life. And I used to judge it because it's based on my brain. Like, I can go really hard for a long time. And she can't in certain capacities. Let's walk for a minute. No, screw that. We can run up this. Come on. Oh, frick. Stupid stairs. Walking would have just been so comfy, so convenient. We're pouring out our cup right now. But at the top of the stairs, you think we'll feel super accomplished and it'll fill it up. But it's a lie, because there's more hill. This still keeps going up, oh my God. You know, so you just keep pouring out what you got. Get closer and closer to empty. It's still uphill. I don't know if it looks like it, but it's steep. And they're like, oh, okay, we made it to the gate. Here comes the refill. Lies! There's an even steeper hill. Oh my God. We're almost there. We can make it. And then we get to our summit. Oh, yay. Now we just get to keep running downhill and tired. This is a very, very convenient spot to stop at. But luckily, we have more stairs. It's supposed to be a recovery day. Whatever. I'm so tired. But if I wasn't live streaming, I mean, this might be exaggeration, but I've experimented with it. I'm not live. It's so much harder to run that hill. There's something about the psychological accountability of trying to push other people towards their best by fighting for mine, that it does make me do things that I don't want to do. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be live. I don't have to be running. But anything you can find to just edge you towards doing the things that you know by principle yield good results but are uncomfortable or unsavory to navigate. Whew. Just by doing that diligently with incremental progress, your life can only get better. Your life will probably never get easier. Like, is a grotesque comparison. Like, if you're an alcoholic and then you become delivered from that, because I want, you know, you move beyond it in some capacity. Like, people say, like, some people say, like, you're still always an alcoholic. Like, alcohol is still always hard. There's like a psychological hook that always wants to pull you towards that experientially. And there's certain mental hooks you have to do to fight that, different behavioral modifications in order to change and build a new life. But like 4 years later from sobriety, you can still slick hard, right? And I think it's the same with any other kind of diligent, disciplined kind of activity, whether you're sales, trying to go door to door, doing cold calls, relentlessly trying and being rejected, or whether you're overweight or have injuries and you're still going out trying to run, trying to lift, trying to get stronger, whether you struggle with food and you're still trying new recipes, trying to be more diligent with what you put in your body. Like, even 2, 3, 10 years later, the choices you have to make, they should still be hard. Because if they become convenient, I don't know, it's a slippery slope. That's my loose perspective on it. Everyone has different ideas. We're almost there. Come on. Beautiful ravine. Good way to finish up. Alright, friends. We have done it. Appreciate y'all. See you on the next one. I gotta go train my wife, take care of the kids, be the best me I can be, keep changing the world. Woo!